Hey, good evening. It's Candace Mae. I see a note here. Can't post comments to some sites. Okay, well, welcome to Candace Mae Is In. You know, it's going to be just an introduction night tonight. And I wanted to just let you know a little bit about me and who I am. I have been doing Facebook Lives on Monday mornings at 8. Hi, welcome for those of you who are live. I'm glad you're here with me. I see you. And those of you who are watching the replay, I want to welcome you as well. I'm Candace Mae, founder of Candace Mae Training and Services. And I was saying, I'm going to do this as an introduction tonight of who I am, because many of you might see me tonight for the first time because I've been showing in the morning, and maybe there's more access for you in the evening to jump online. And I'm hoping that this evening's programs will be, hi Kelly, nice to see you. I'm hoping that the evening talks tonight on Tuesday evenings will be more casual, that you'll submit questions to me, and that you will, hi Elvisa, thanks for joining, and that you will please send me questions that you have and let me answer those for you, whatever you're struggling with in life or in business. And tonight I have some questions that I've got here. But first I want to take a few minutes and just tell you a little bit about me and who I am. So this is going to be a more intimate call tonight, just because I think it's important for you to know who I am. I am, as I said, Candace Mae Gruber, founder of Candace Mae Training and Services. And my title is Leadership and Strategic Business Consultant and Executive Coach. And that's a title. It does talk about what I do, but I'm going to list off a bunch of titles and things that I have here as, quote, credentials, just to get them out of the way so you kind of get a feel for who I am. I founded my business 2 years ago. I'm an executive director with the John Maxwell team and have been for a number of years, since 2016, I believe. And that means there's levels of membership within the John Maxwell team. There's a certification level, which a lot of people join for personal growth, maybe to bring growth into their companies. If they're an employee, maybe they have their own company, and there's several systems of John Maxwell that's available for them to teach. And then there's the mentorship level that opens up another 6 levels for them to teach and bring value to the communities and their businesses and themselves. And then there's the executive director level, which opens up corporate level material and gives huge workshops, the 21 Laws of Leadership and a leader's journey, which develops management, transition skills, communication skills, all corporate level material, outstanding. And it's what I am, an executive director with the John Maxwell team. And my goal is to work with CEOs and the C-level manager, executives, their directors, and the leadership team, and to bring value to them, to help them grow and develop their team, teaching them how to coach their team for growth. A lot of people in business have employees. We always give them annual reviews, or maybe every twice a year, but we don't really help them grow. We point out growth points and strengths that they may have, but are we developing them? Because my mantra is build your people, build your business. And that's what I'm hoping these sessions on Tuesday nights will be, an opportunity for you to ask me questions that you're struggling with in your life or in your workplace, and how we can resolve that and how that will help you build your business as you work through those things. It's a very powerful process. And then I am a certified communication behavior specialist. So I work with the John Maxwell DISC personality profiling, and so I can teach you all about your communication style, your behavior style. And we have specialty fields in here. They're called impact reports, whether you're in sales, what your selling style is, and how to identify what your buyer's communication styles are. Whether you're a teacher and how to interact with your students. If you're a sales manager and you have salespeople that are reporting to you, how are you motivating them? Are you just telling them this is your quota, you need to hit this number? Or are you understanding who they are as a person and their values and profiles so that you can enhance them to make them really be motivated and bring those sales up much further. If you're in college, or maybe especially now with college career, people are doing a lot of transitions. Maybe you're stuck and you're wondering, what am I doing? What should I be going into? I've had that job for a long time and now I need to change. I have a career impact report. It's college and career, and it helps you identify all your strengths, all your communication styles. Is wonderful when you're trying to rebuild your resume and you're trying to figure out what is it I should be putting on here. What is in my cover letter should I be saying about myself? It points out all of your growth, all of your strengths, all of the qualities you bring to a team. It identifies what we call a power disc. And what are your strengths in the 7 areas of leadership, whether you should be working in the ones that are the highest? And this week, identify what those are. If you, what industries are best for your personality and your strengths? Which will you succeed the most in that would bring you pleasure with your job and who you are? Not just a job to go to get paid, but something that really makes you thrive and be really happy in what you're doing. Then we have being certified in intuition coaching, which is a whole different level of coaching. And that is something I'm working with International Awaken International. And then I have my certification for women in leadership, teaching the practice, the body of work called Art of Feminine Presence, which is extremely powerful and life-changing. And it will take you deep into practices that will help you be grounded and centered and figure out how you can be powerful and yet feminine. Because too many times in life right now, women are too many people too many women are being pushed and pressured into what they're doing and trying to make things happen instead of just letting it drive from their energy and really have a powerful presence, building their boundaries with other people and their safety area. I have a bachelor's degree from the California Baptist University, back when it was California Baptist College. In fact, while I was there, I had founded the Entrepreneurial Club, and I'm happy to say that it's thriving there today, and that gives me a sense of legacy there, so that makes me feel great. I've always wanted to have my business since I was in my 20s. And so starting my business, some people say, why did you start a business? Well, I started a business because it's always been in the agenda. I was just waiting until the time when my children grew and they would be out of the home so that I could focus on my business. Because having a business, as most of you know, if you've had one or are in the process of having a business, it's like giving birth to a child. It takes all of you. It takes all of your energy, at least in those few early years, to really get it off the ground. And I have a master's degree from the University of Redlands, and that's in interactive telecommunication, which focuses on project management, technology, implementation of all of those. And that's one of my specialties. I spent over 22 years in the IT field, dealing with enterprise systems, cross-functional teams, integrations, process re-engineering, all of these things that take a lot of attention to detail, but yet work with people, and people who are very, very different. I was the liaison between those technical personalities and the business side, and those very outgoing side. And so the technical team, as you know, often wants to use a lot of jargon and details and very into the systems, right, and automation. And then the business side is very much into customer service, and business rules need to run things. So sometimes there's a disconnect between these departments. So that communication has been essential. Writing up documentation, getting procedures in place. All of those things are skill sets that I have that actually I take for granted. But when it comes to people and building your growth and who you are and building your business, these are outstanding assets to have. And if you have an office where you're working and your processes aren't running smoothly, people are working in silos, you have high absenteeism, maybe a lot of personality conflicts, all of these things are areas that I can work with you in. I am very good with people and with processes because of my background. They really come together. So my business focuses on businesses, processes, and women in leadership. Those are my big areas. And the biggest qualification I think I share is that I've been a student of life. I have been on a personal growth journey for over 40 years. That's right, over 40 years focusing on my personal growth. Some people jump into personal growth late in life. Maybe they've only spent a couple of years in it, and that's fine. That's no problem. The point is we need to grow. We need to find out who we are, face the struggles of life, and move on and embrace them. Figure out that, life really does stretch us in 4 areas. It really shapes us. I believe that life circumstances, good or bad, can be brought into play. But when do you grow the most? Do you grow when things are great and smooth and happy? Or do you grow the most when you're faced with challenges? And how do you overcome those challenges? Most often, people's biggest stretch of growth comes during difficult times. So life challenges end up helping us in 4 ways. Let me see if I can think of what they are. It embraces, teaches us. Well, I'm a woman of faith, and so that's going to come out in my business and who I am. So let me just share that right now. So when I'm saying that I'm talking about life circumstances shape us in 4 ways, these are the 4 ways that I see them. 1, it helps me to realize what I've come through in life and how we were born into this world. I'd like to work with the mind and the brain and how the brain functions and the unconscious pieces of us that shape us and hold us back in life. And because we know when we're born into this world, we have no conscious brain. It's children. Think of the animal kingdom. Animals are born and they can stand up within minutes and run, and they have to for endangered species, right? They have to survive. What happens when a human is born? They come into this world as a small little baby. They can't walk, they can't talk, they can't crawl. They're helpless. They are the most helpless animal on this planet when they're born. That has to say a lot to do with relationships and how important relationships are. We come into this world extremely dependent on those people around us to feed us, to keep us warm, to nurture us. And so those first 7 years of life, we're like a sponge just absorbing everything around us. And all of those things that we're that we're absorbing are becoming programs. We have been blessed with this beautiful physical intelligence that keeps us thinking, breathing, our organs running, everything. We use only 5% of our brain. 95% of our functioning is all happening at an unconscious level of our brain. Isn't that fascinating? I find it absolutely fascinating. And if that's true, then are you living your life to its fullest? Or are you walking around in a trance most of the time, in routine, just going through? So I think life circumstances are there to bring up things that have happened to us in the past. We have patterns that happen because of the subconscious beliefs in us. They keep repeating patterns. So if you step back from your life far enough and you look at the bigger picture, you'll start to see some patterns that ripple through your life. Chances are they may ripple down from your parents' life and down several generations. Why is that? Because that programming got passed down from generations to generations. Some of it may have even put into your DNA, believe it or not. So what does that do? How does that shape you? What do you do with all of that patterning, right? How do you uncover that? If you grew up in an environment like I did, I grew up in a home where there was a lot of hatred, but it was all I knew. That's everything that I knew, right? And so it was normal. And I also grew up with contrast. My dad was very heavily into biases and prejudice, and my mother was much more open. And my dad was 3rd grade education. Think about that. 3rd grade, 6 or 7 at the most. He's just beginning to get his consciousness. He grew up in the mountains in the South, and he was not allowed to finish school. He had to stay and work the farm. What does that mean? That means he was pretty much controlled by his siblings who raised him, and he did what he was told. He didn't have he was a hard worker. He had a huge heart, but he was very much shaped and controlled by those around him. And it wasn't until he was in his late 60s, 70s that he really came into understanding to what degree this impacted his life. He had a change of heart, but it was a hard life. I have a big story someday. Invite me to speak, and I can tell you all of these interesting facts and lessons along the way, and powerful process. So life shapes us and those experiences, and helping us to trigger back those patterns repeatedly. And our goal in life is to figure out what is triggered, why is this triggered, and why is this event upsetting me so much? When I start to see what these things are that upset me so much, that is something that tells me there's something there that in my unconscious belief system that may be something I need to look at and hold it to the light of the truth. And when I say that, of course, I mean there's a reality of things that really happen, and then there's truth, right? Our circumstances aren't always our truth. Other things that life brings to us are opportunities in the circumstances of life. They give us opportunities to develop faith and to have encounters with God. And it's a wonderful process, right? And for growth, overall growth. So student of life for 40 years, really focusing in on it. But I'll tell you the truth. Since I started doing the Art of Feminine Presence a year ago, that brought a whole new level of growth and awareness within me and what's going on with me. You know, you've heard of Stephen Covey and all of his work, The 7 Habits of Successful People and so forth. And Stephen Covey's always said, you have to have inner victories before you can have outer victories. And when you're going through a leadership development, part of that process is to become more aware of who you are. And so we have physical intelligence, as I was talking about. We have our IQ, our intellect, our education, math, and science, and all of those things that we measure. And for many, many years, we thought that that was going to determine a person's success in life and in business. But we discovered that there's an emotional intelligence, which is, you know, your ability to understand yourself and your awareness of yourself and how you are interacting and what's going on within you and how you interact with other people. That's the number one measurement of success, really. And then there's the fourth intelligence, and that's spiritual intelligence. We have a higher power. And a lot of people, I know for me, I grew up thinking that I'm a physical being here. And if I die, I might go to heaven, I might go to hell, you know, whatever. But I've come to realize that we're not physical beings. This is just my house, my container. I'm a spiritual being first and foremost. And I told you I'm a woman of faith. And I believe that God created the world in order. And he set universal laws into place that shape and control the world. We know the sun rises and sets every day. We count on that as a certainty, don't we? We know that the gravity is here and holds us to the earth. We know that the moon draws the tides of the ocean in and out. It's a rhythm that goes on, the law of rhythm. We know about the law of gestation. If you're a farmer or you come from any background there, you plant seeds, and it takes a period of gestation for the life in those seeds to come up and gestate and break through the ground. For a long time, you don't see anything happening, and you think, I planted those seeds and nothing's happening. But if you're a farmer, you know it's happening. It's under the ground, but you're watering it and you're nurturing it and you're giving it the care it needs. You know it's growing. You know it's going to come up. So it's a powerful, powerful law. And I believe all of these things in this world, God created these universal laws to keep this in order. And you and I are in this world, are we not? And because we're in this world, that means we're subject to these laws, these universal laws. I would love to spend time talking about those, but those Those are very in-depth, but those are questions you can ask me about, things we can cover in weeks ahead. So what else did I want to tell you? I already told you that I was drawn to open my own business in my 20s, but I was a single mom for many years. And so my kids were my priority and making sure that they were taken care of. I put my career first and the stability there. But now it's time for me to take all the skills I have and serve the world in a bigger way. And I'm not saying that in a over bragging way. It's just that I believe each of us have a purpose that we were given to be here in this world. And when you can find out what your purpose is, what your skill set is, that is your strength areas, some people call it your genius zone. What do you do that is so natural for you that you don't even know you do it? It seems so easy, everybody should do this, because chances are not everybody can do that. And that's your genius zone. And that's where you should be working. That's where your gifts are for the world. So we all come into this world with something to offer. It's like a big jigsaw puzzle. We really are each unique. We all have little pieces of each other in us. And I think we're connected in this spiritual sense, a lot of us look to the sky and growing up and thinking God's out there somewhere. But really, I think God is inside us. It's a journey inward that we go through as we start on this journey of enlightenment and finding who we are and how we fit in this world and what our gifts are. And having someone guide you through that process is huge to help you get there faster. And that's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you grow as an individual, grow those people around you, and grow your business. Because I really seriously believe when you're growing as a person, you're becoming stronger and more aware of opportunities and the things around you. And that opens up doors and windows and opportunities for business to get stronger, right? And when you're growing yourself, you're more able to be grounded in yourself and face challenging situations, develop a vision to see further than others do around you. When you develop the people around you, they start seeing opportunities bigger. When you allow them to work in their strengths, they have more energy, they're excited, they want to be at work. These are powerful processes. It's things we just take for granted, but really, I'm telling you, it's powerful. And do you want to go to work where you're not appreciated? Do you want to go to work where you're told just do your job and don't bring any ideas? Or do you want to be at a place where they care about your thoughts, where they care about what you're thinking and feeling, and that you have something to offer? They believe in you. They ask you, tell me what your thoughts are on this. Who has the best answers on how to solve a problem? Usually the people closest to that problem who are working with it. But yet what happens in so many businesses? The top leadership wants to make the decisions in silo. And they're not really filtering down and asking the people if they have suggestions and solutions. Because if they did, they probably would get some great suggestions. They can still make the decision, but if they would open up to some suggestions from the people who are doing the work, they might be really surprised. So there's a lot going on there, right? There's a lot going on there. So I was introduced to John Maxwell in the late 90s, early 2000s. He wrote the book 21 Laws of Leadership. And I brought that into my for 21 weeks, I studied it very in-depth. Got a certificate. I actually took it at a church, and took it, went into my corporate job, and shared it with my team. I had a team, an IT team, and I had contractors that were outside of the company working with us. And then I also inherited an operational team to revise product pricing and various things. And so we took a very manual process, automated it, did some auditing in the process, and turned what used to take 6 days to 21 days to get pricing, because there was 5 ways to do pricing. We turned it around within 24 hours, right, with 1 business day. So it was a huge process, and couldn't be done numerous people had tried for years, and we got our manuals together and our procedures, and everything was documented, and it was a powerful process. That's what I'm good at. I'm good at, and I matched people up with team members who the team was not really moving well together. And we took the 17 laws of teamwork with John Maxwell and brought them into the team, redefined our team, shaped the team. People were getting along. We matched up people's where they were sitting and who they were working with. It was a powerful process. And that's something that I like to bring to businesses, because I saw firsthand the difference it made in my life, in the company, in the team members that I was working with. I was touched deeply by a team member who had been almost retirement age, and she'd been working with the company numerous years. But she came to me and said, Candace, I have to tell you, I wish I'd had you for a supervisor 30 years ago. She said, you've changed my world. And I just can't imagine how much of a different person I would be today if I had met you 30 years ago. So this is my gift. My gift is to work with people and processes and businesses and bring out your best. And I'd like to do that with you. But right now, I want to tell you about some opportunities. You know, we've got the pandemic going on, and a lot of businesses have Christmas parties and New Year parties, and Thanksgiving is this week coming up. And right now, I bet there are companies who are struggling. How do we build morale? How do we have a party? How do we celebrate with our team? Some of our team members are working from home. Some companies are still meeting in their offices, but some companies have a lot of people who are remote working now, and they're not together. I want to let you know I have this team game. It's actually a team diagnostic tool. So it actually builds your skills as a team, but it's played like a game. So it's a lot of fun, and it can be played virtually. I've actually played it virtually with people from around the world. That's right, virtually with people from around the world. I facilitate the game, and it's played with cards. They've got lots of cards. There's leadership cards, personal leadership, organization, followers, leaders, and there's questions, and there's debates, and there's all kinds of fun things that go on. And there's also learning that goes on in the process. So for tonight, I thought I'd ask a couple of these questions to end our session together and just give you a taste of some of the fun questions. And these are deeper questions than you might ask on a normal day. But it is so much fun, unanimously, no matter how many times I played this, or I played it with a hospital locally, and their team was amazed. I give a summary after the game to the executive of the team, and letting them know observations and things I've noticed about the team, and they're amazed at how much can be seen and observed through the team, and how much growth can happen. And I want to offer that to you. I want to offer that to you as an opportunity to build your team. So if you're interested in that, in the comments section, just put leadership game or holidays, and I will follow up with you, right, to talk to you about it and what's going on. And then tomorrow, or Friday, Black Friday, I'm going to be speaking at a special event, and I'm going to be talking about the art of feminine presence for women in leadership, the power that it is, and actually give a demonstration. So if you're interested, it's free. It's a several-hour event with different speakers. So I'll be one of those speakers. It's for women. I think it's for women in empowering women in wealth and life and business. So if you're interested in that, just put down Black Friday conference or something along the lines, and I'll get that information to you too, and I'll post that information below. So I hope this was a fun introduction. Let's see. Elvisa says, let me see what we say here. Can I pull you in? I should do that test with you and get clear on my leadership style. Yes, that's the powerful, powerful test. You certainly do want to do that. And Kelly, I so am glad to see you here. Yes, and I'm glad that you're here. This is great. So let me just finish up now with these questions. And this is a leader card for leaders. Anyway, you pull it, there's dice you roll, and you have so many minutes to answer. But this one says, lead yourself. How is balance or imbalance in our personal and professional life reflected in our ability to lead? Wow. How is balance or imbalance in our personal and professional life reflected in our ability to lead? Well, this comes from John Maxwell's Leadership Gold Book. And I would have to tell you, from me, I would say if you're not balanced in your personal life, it's going to leak out in your professional life. And I can tell you that as I've had in the past 11 weeks, deep work on uncovering some beliefs that I held very deeply in my subconscious, and I was not even aware of what they were, but they were controlling me and limiting how I could carry out my work. They were hitting roadblocks for me. Why I was hitting those roadblocks, why I couldn't break through, I couldn't tell you why. But after doing deep work, I realized that that is something that was so deeply rooted in me. It was controlling. It was controlling me at a subconscious level to say, you can't go there. I was afraid. I was afraid if I help other people to a certain extent, it's going to take too much from me and I could be hurt. And that holds me back. And I know that there's been other coaches and other people who struggle with this, that they've been like, I'm afraid to move my business to the next level because I'm afraid if I stretch myself out there too much, people are going to take too much from me. This happens with you. Maybe you're a leader at work. Maybe you have people who report to you. How are you able to interact with them? You'd be surprised that some of the things that you react or respond to them with are being driven by a subconscious belief. And when we work together through coaching, we can identify those things and break you free of that. You'll be amazed at how much stronger your influence and connection with people is. This card is called Followers. The law of the picture. People do what people see. Is there any area of your company where we say one thing, yet we do another? Wow. So as a team, you would discuss this question. Is there any area in our company where we say one thing and we do another? Many times companies have in their offices vision on the wall or their objectives. But if you were to ask the employees, what is the company's vision? Could they tell you? Chances are no. And here's another one that's even more important. Could they tell you how their job, what they do every day, plays into that bigger vision? It's important that they can, because that gives them a sense of stronger belonging. That gives them a sense of ownership in what they're doing and moves the company further along into that vision. I love working with executives and teams develop the vision and the alignment of the day-to-day work and how that all looks and plays out. Whether that be through special retreats or working facilitation meetings with the senior leadership team. It's an in-depth process. So people do what people see. So sometimes a company might say, hi Julie, so glad you're here. Some companies might say, we're really big into the environment and we want to protect the environment. And then they have a policy that comes up and they make a decision, and that policy is totally against the environment if you stop to look at what they decided. So that is an instance where they say one thing, but they're not doing it in their actions. So think about that. Is there any area of your company where you say one thing and you do another? This one is organization. So as an organization, why good intentions are not enough? If you will first help others get what they want, they will help you get what you want. That's Zig Ziglar. Yeah, this is mentioned in John's book, Intentional Living. And so in this situation, you'd pick another player and you would debate this and talk about your view and have somebody else respond. And we have these really cool cards in the game, and you get to vote. You either agree or you disagree. So you're debating on who's the best argument. So it gets you to develop your communication skills as well. So you can see it's a really fun game. So think about that. Let me ask you, if you will first help others get what they want, they will help you get what you want. How is that true? Does that look true in your life? Have you found that to be true? Because if you're helping other people get what they want, usually you're lifting them up, helping them up. And when you're lifting somebody else, you can't do anything else but to get higher up as well, right, in your process. So fun conversations during the game. And the last question I'm going to leave tonight is a personal leadership question. And this one says, share your response with the following question or statement with the rest of the team. So whoever drew this card would share it with the team. A person of influence listens to people. Choose one player from the table who you feel is a good listener. Tell what they do specifically that gives them this skill. Wow. How many times do you go around your business and share a compliment with somebody and say, Carol, you are such a good listener. You know, you're very attentive. You're not only listening to what people are saying, but you have a sense of drawing out how they're feeling. And if they say yes, but they really mean no, you have a way of like sensing that and talking to them about that. So I just want to tell you, you're an awesome listener. Wow, would that change your work environment or what? Like, and that person who gets that compliment would be like, really? So this is a good example. Active listening. I teach those skills. I teach the communication process. I work with teams to build collaboration skills. So many things. So this is our introduction to Tuesday nights. I'm Candace Mae with Candace Mae Training and Services, and I'm looking forward to spending Tuesday evenings with you, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. I'm hoping that you'll leave questions for me or email them to me, private message them to me during the week, and I will gather them up and bring them to you on Tuesday nights, and we'll have a conversation. And those of you who are like wanting to ask me questions, I can throw you up on the screen like this. Julie, I'm so glad you're here. Thanks so much. So join me on Tuesdays at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. And remember, if you want to know about the leadership game or have me teach your team, and it can be virtual, so it doesn't mean that you have to be here in California where I am. I can play with you over the internet with your team. Write leadership game in the comments, and I'll get with you and share more information about it. And if you are interested in learning more about women in leadership and the art of feminine presence practices, I'm going to be speaking on Black Friday in just a few days here. Put down AFP or Women in Leadership, and I will get with you and share that information. Have an awesome day, and thank you everyone who's here tonight and those who are watching the replay. Have a great night. Bye-bye.